Currently, I just started a position in Lancaster County as a special education teacher. Mental health has always been of interest to me. So I had one of my students say to me, if you give me a dog, I could go anywhere. And what she was referring to was social anxiety. But, so if she had a canine, it just allowed her to be more relaxed and more comfortable with where she was going and what she was doing. And I started looking at therapy dog programs. My dissertation was titled Perceptions and Pragmatics of Therapy Dogs in Schools. The St. James Players is a local theater within the last couple of months moved out to the Lebanon Valley Mall, coming into a larger area. The founder, Karen Galata, I had worked with her at the Lebanon County Career and Technology Centers, learned about the great things that she was doing for children in our community and sharing the arts. I did one show with them. I'm not necessarily the theatrical type, but I did it for the fun of it, and we actually had the whole family in it, and it was a great time. While I was working at the Lebanon County Career and Technology Center, and there I worked with students who had barriers to their education, to their learning, to the acquisition of the skills that they needed to go out and be successful in a trade. And some of those barriers that we looked at in there were different things, whether it be a disability, whether they were a single parent, whether they were from a low-income household, parents who were deployed in the military. The non-traditional students, I definitely enjoyed working with that category in particular. There are factors involved, but it can be very difficult for a woman or young woman to go into a field that is predominantly man. Auto tech program for the last 2 years has gone out to Ford Nationals at Carlisle. And one year we had the exciting opportunity to meet Emmeline King. She is the first Black woman who was hired by Ford to create an automotive design, and she had worked on one of the previous body Mustangs. As a teenager, my father was very much into automotive restoration. I enjoyed doing the hands-on stuff and working with him out in the garage. And back in the in the 80s, I was kind of an anomaly. I had considered going to my CTC, and I would have loved to have gone in one of the other programs, but for that time period, I was not willing to step across that gender line. And today we have that. We have students doing that today, and I think it's a beautiful thing. We would have students who were struggling with academics and whatnot in their homeschool, and they come out to the CTC and they engage in a program of interest, and all of a sudden they go from barely passing to getting A's. And it's not necessarily because they couldn't learn otherwise, but it's that interest. It allows them to get that hands-on interaction, to feel the success, to see their own growth and knowledge, maybe have a little coaching, whether it be from the teacher or a learning facilitator, to see them get that comfort with it and actually create a project, something that they did from scratch. It's just fascinating to see and see that pride that kind of swells up in them, and it gives them a purpose, they feel good about it. My husband is also a special educator. We are both presently working for IU13. He is a special education consultant at the Lancaster CTC. I'm working in a partial hospitalization program. In education, special education in particular, but it's not isolated to special education, is a massive amount of mental health challenges. 42% of teenagers have reported feeling depressed, and even higher, 57% of females who are teenagers also reported, feeling depressed. I go in every day and I do the best that I can to my ability. Because I care about children. I want them to succeed. I want them to go out, have good lives, be productive members of the community. To teach is to touch a life forever. Teaching is actually touching generations of lives. A parent with a mental health need definitely has an effect on those children and the rest of the families.